Every closet carries a story. This one held 18 years of memories, clothes layered piece by piece until the space itself was almost forgotten. When we opened the door, it wasn't just clutter we saw. We saw choices. The things saved, the things that no longer served, and the ones quietly waiting for change. At Clutter, it's about listening to the life behind the stuff, the history, the habits, and the hopes for what comes next. In this project, you'll see how we transformed a walk-in closet you couldn't even walk into a space with light, function, and breath, all in just 10 hours. Before we could even begin the deeper decluttering, we started with the simplest and often most overlooked layer, empty packaging and other items the client was comfortable tossing or recycling. Every person has a different definition of toss, and because we had worked with this client before, we already knew their usual categories. The empty boxes, empty packaging, years-old mail and ads, expired products, and dry cleaner hangers, just to name a few. For someone else, it might look completely different. That's why we always begin by asking, listening, and adapting to the person in front of us. What matters most is creating space in a way that respects their life, their pace, and their choices. By removing these items first, two big things happen. Number one, we instantly shrink the volume of stuff we need to sort through. This gives a psychological boost of momentum. It already feels like progress. And number two, we make the next phase less overwhelming because you no longer have to make hundreds of tiny, stressful decisions that eventually lead to decision fatigue. It's like clearing the playing field before the real game begins. That's how we make decluttering not just easier, but actually enjoyable. You can actually see your space take shape as you go. We moved on to sorting into keep or donate. This allowed us to go through about 70 to 75% of the closet in one session. The focus here was donating the items that no longer brought joy or use. Things like, it doesn't fit me right, or I just don't like the color, or I have 3 identical pieces, maybe I should let go of one. What we don't do is pressure anyone to pare everything down to a tiny wardrobe or to only keep clothes that they wear every week. That can feel extreme, especially for someone decluttering for the first time in their life. Instead, we allow room for maybes, items they're not sure about, things that look stained but might be cleaned up, or pieces they're just not ready to decide on. And I'll talk later in the video about how we trim the wardrobe down even further. And just like step 1, this process looks different for everyone. We're just there to guide you at your pace, picking up on cues if we're slowing down or if we're starting to feel overwhelmed. And this goes both ways. Beyond about 2 hours of focused decluttering, you get tired, and we, as professionals, get tired too. That's when we pause. We either end the session for the day or we give you a break while we continue with another organizing task in the closet. Once the decluttering was about 70% complete, we turned to designing and installing the closet. The main challenge was that this closet only had a single wire shelf with hanging space, but no shelving or drawers. That meant clothing had no true home, and the floor quickly became the default storage spot. To make the closet truly functional, it needed to become a place where finding and putting away clothes felt effortless. So we began by researching different options, from custom built-in closet systems to budget-friendly combinations of dressers and shoe racks. We considered both the measurements of the room and the client's priorities and budget. Next, we digitized the closet to scale, which allowed us to move furniture pieces around virtually and test different layouts. This gave us the freedom to compare options, see how each would function, and choose the best fit for the client's needs. After reviewing the layouts together, we agreed on the final design: one dresser paired with the client's existing shelves. This actually turned out to be more practical than the original plan for 2 dressers because it forced us to trim down the wardrobe even further. From there, we ordered the furniture ahead of time so it was ready for installation. Assembly and anchoring took about 1 session, and with that complete, the closet immediately began to feel structured and purposeful. Folding and sorting the clothing added simplicity and structure to everything that had been created before. In the walk-in, we kept the loved clothing used weekly, monthly, or yearly, such as suits, dress clothes, workout gear, swimsuits, and seasonal items. Other belongings that didn't fit the purpose of the space were moved out. For example, towels and bed sheets were moved to the linen closet, and some clothes and accessories used daily were relocated to the master closet for easier access. Seasonal and holiday clothing were boxed and stored away until needed. Folding took the most time in this step, but the effort mattered because the result brought real joy. Right now we're going to start to put things away. We have assembled the dresser in the back, and we are working with these shelves, plastic shelves that the client already had. We're going to try to fit everything in here. Whatever doesn't fit in this space, we are going to either take to the basement or donate. We might separate some sporting clothes and things like that to take to the master bedroom, but for now, this is everything we're keeping here. Seasonal stuff, swimsuits, sports, jeans, pants, and everything that is hung. We then moved on to mapping the dresser and deciding where each category would go. To do this, we used post-it notes as a visual guide. Each drawer was labeled with a potential category, and we talked through the placement. Post-its were swapped back and forth until each category had the best possible position for accessibility and ease of use. This simple step makes a huge difference. It prevents trial and error after the clothes are already put away and ensures the system is designed with usability in mind from the very beginning.
Like a little bit nicer, like things like this. So like maybe the nice
t-shirts.
Short sleeves could go there.
What if we do skirts, nice tank tops, polos, and nice t-shirts?
Okay. Anything that doesn't have like a logo printed, like a plain,
Yes.
like I
So
can't
I
really
would say
find.
like with like casual t-shirts, it would be anything with
yeah,
a logo.
yeah. Like we could fill the athletics. We could do swimsuits, like the stuff that we are pretty sure will fit in there.
Yes.
Whereas the t-shirts, like we know.
Yeah, I love that. Yes. We then started putting away the clothes in the placements created during step 5. With the categories mapped out, every drawer had a purpose. So we placed the clothes and accessories directly into their assigned spots, which meant no guessing and minimal reshuffling. As the clothes went into place, we continued to trim the wardrobe down further based on space availability. Anything extra was sorted into overflow categories such as overflow casual t-shirts, overflow athletic shorts, and so on, and we moved these into long-term storage in the basement. To keep this process intentional, we labeled overflow boxes with expiration dates. If a box is not going to be open within a year, we will remove it at no cost. On the last day of this project, we started by hanging all the clothes we had set aside for this moment. The top bins on the wire rack and the 2 I had brought in from the master closet I organized in the meantime, and everything finally came together in this space. We had about 250 to 300 hangers, which was enough to serve us comfortably, but we did use every single one of them. And once everything was up, we replaced some of the old hangers with new ones to give the closet a fresh, cohesive look. This step gave structure to the hanging space and balanced the closet. Folded categories were placed in the dresser, while hanging categories filled the rack, and together the 2 systems finally worked together as one, and the closet was almost done. When the hanging was complete, we grouped the clothing into clear categories such as dress clothes, suits, shirts, polos, some light jackets, and so on, and each section was arranged so it would be easy to see and easy to reach. As we hung the clothing, the wardrobe was trimmed down to whatever fit on the middle wire rack. Duplicates were moved into the long-term storage, and loungewear was relocated to the master closet. We only kept whatever fit. We then moved on to organizing accessories. While I was removing the last clothing items from the closet, Stephanie got a head start on the shoes in the back. Small items like sunglasses, bracelets, and hair accessories can be tricky. Without a designated home, they scatter everywhere, in drawers, on shelves, or mixed into other containers. And over time, this creates clutter and makes them hard to find. To solve this, we gave every accessory a clear space. The white drawers were set aside specifically for these smaller categories, so nothing would end up lost or floating around the closet or the house again. Now, each item had a defined home, easy to reach and easy to put away. The final step was adding the finishing touches, creating labels for the dresser, dusting the surfaces, and vacuuming the floor one last time. These small details gave the project a clean, polished finish and made the space truly feel complete. Let's talk about donations next, and about how amazing our client was in letting go of so many things that no longer served. We removed donations throughout this project, and these boxes here are only a fraction of what left the home. A car full of boxes like this one was removed at the end of each session, and this is not even counting the trash and recycling that went straight to the client's bin. This is worth celebrating. Every single box represents progress and the courage it takes to release years of accumulated things. And of course, for every load, we also created detailed donation lists so the client could use them later for tax deductions. And now it's time for the final reveal. And finally, a huge thank you to our client. They were open, trusting, and allowed us to record this transformation so we could share it with you. This is humbling. This project wouldn't have been possible without their willingness and their approval. Thank you, thank you, thank you.